America starts on April 8th. And it's like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah. I always wonder, but I wonder with the whole lying, is it just because it take too much time, like you said, Mark? Like now we got to rewrite tests.
Well,
I got to write books, which there is none of that anymore. Or is there land over there, and is it like Avatar where land is floating and we know how to use energy? It is like Star Wars. You have the hovers and they move. Jimbo's talking about things floating. I know. I don't care what anyone says. I know we got that technology.
Sure.
You're not going to convince me. Free energy, free everything. We're just as beings, we're entitled to live off the world. Right. So maybe it is control. Maybe it's a bizarre slavery. Well, I don't know. But I really want to go on the other side of Antarctica. Why can't we go past Antarctica? Right. Nobody ever explains that. And to me, that should be the first major red flag if you don't believe or don't even want to look into flat Earth. Right. Why are you not allowed to go to Antarctica? It makes no sense. And why can't you go past it? What is the big deal?
What is the big deal? To your first question, I probably should have brought this up earlier, which is you can't be the greatest authority if you're not. Meaning, if all of a sudden you admit that we didn't build this place, you as a government, government right now is the highest level of authority that we have. You all of a sudden immediately lose credibility. You're people will start questioning you and ask the questions that you were asking, which is it opens up the door to too many questions. First off, it'd be like, yeah, so we'd really like to talk to the people that built this place, and we think you're keeping secrets. And is there more land over there? And we need to know that too. It would be way tougher to keep everybody corralled if all of a sudden you admit
it'd be chaos.
It would be chaos. Potentially.
Chaos.
Well, I was going to say, it just makes, in very simple terms, it just makes the government not the top dog. Like right now, they're like, no, we're the top dog on the planet. We're the top dog. But then if we find out that, somebody else bigger than you built this place, or there are higher intelligences. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, they're not top dog.
It's why the Air Force has never come out and said, talked about UFOs at all, because you can't rule the skies if you don't rule the skies. You can't come out and say, oh yeah, there's some things flying around up there that could just beat the freaking brakes off of our stuff. You can never ever admit that, because that says you have some sort of vulnerability. So they'll tease every once in a while. It's like, oh look, here's a grainy UFO over here, and here's something out of focus over here, but they don't want to talk about it. And also, go ahead.
No, the only concern, well, not the only concern, but one of the concerns I have with the whole concept of whether the Earth is flat or not is that, well, one time I had heard that it was one specific military guy that came up with the idea of, let's call it a flat Earth. And the reason was, we got to keep these guys off balance, meaning us, the people. Let's have them arguing about everything other than the voting machines that we all still have in place that stole the last election, that are probably going to steal this election if we're not paying attention to it, blah, 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 blah,
sure.
blah. You know what I'm saying? Keep them arguing about anything other than...
That's a power thing. That's a control. That's power and control. Are the demons? I call them demons, and they're in our government. Yeah. They're in every government.
Even the military guys that contacted you, maybe it's all right, we got to push this agenda. We don't know.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I'm saying?
What you're talking about is the disinformation argument, which is, do you create flat Earth as part of a government program? The idea, and introduce it into social media in 2015. However, and I get where I understand why some people look, the truther community is suspicious as a rule. I still have people like I know that you've talked to Eddie Bravo a few times. Eddie Bravo still to this day thinks I am a government agent for whatever reason, because it was started like 9 years ago. I cannot get him off that. Thank God he's friends with other people in our community. But he'll never talk to me. But like, I will go to, for example, I'll go to conferences every once in a while, and one of my guys made me like a CIA logo shirt, just a little logo on the shirt, right? I'm wearing it in broad daylight, and there's people looking at me sideways the entire conference. It's like, oh yeah, that guy. It's like, come on. But as far as go ahead.
I feel like there's so many people now, and I think there's enough people all over the world that are questioning so many things. Am I out of line, Jimbo, when I say I think a lot of us are ready for, like, hey, man, everyone sit down. Sit down.
I know where he's going.
We got to lay some stuff down for you. It's not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy. It's going to take a long process to digest, but it's just time. A lot of us have been living a lie. A lot of us are protecting many lies. There's too many lies to talk about. Too many lives have been lost. But you know what? It's time for us as humanity, as the souls that we are, the spirits that go through every living being, tree, plant, and us, an animal, and earth. It's time for us to understand how we're truly connected and what's going down.
There you go.
And what has gone down for a long time. So sit down and, we're going to keep, there's enough food for everybody. I don't want to worry about, but we're going to shut things down. We already set up at every place. We got food, we got water. The restaurants are staying open. We're the whole different world going to go on.
Jimmy,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Jimmy. Before you get in, because I want to jump off that for just a second. Which is, I'm an optimist at heart, and yes, which is I think that flat Earth was it introduced artificially, but it was allowed to grow organically. Meaning, at the very least, they didn't stop us. And I think part of it is because flat Earth cracks your head open like a walnut and makes you super open-minded. In some cases, probably too much, but that's a whole nother story. Because of that, I think it was allowed to get out there in so many places now because something bigger is coming down the pipe. Like what Jim was saying, some big reveal. It's like, okay, what's bigger than flat Earth? I don't know. The existence of other civilizations, other lands, some divine power. Take your pick. But flat Earth is a gateway to something bigger and better, in my opinion. But again, I'm being an optimist when I say that.
What if
like
that? What if that ice wall?
It's the marijuana of.
There you go.
Gateway.
People say that's the gateway to other. Is it?
No, but maybe I just thought of this just a second while you were talking, Mark. What if this ice wall is melting? So there's going to be free traffic. Ooh. Boats can just go wherever, and maybe there is land on the other side of the ice that now you can just row your boat.
Sure.
Holy shit!
Or all of a sudden, another civilization has access to us, and maybe they don't have the rules that we do.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if that goes down? Like, they got a whole different going on there. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say, Jim, you asked if people are ready for the big sit down.
I think
we 100% are. I don't think we were 4 years ago.
No way.
We weren't 4 years ago, but how amazing is that? Talk about warp speed, Project Warp Speed. Like we are now ready. I really feel like we're all ready. There's enough of us out there.
I think there's enough of us that are ready and that can take care of.
And like you said, would people be freaked out if like things shut down? No, we went through COVID. We shut the world down. We were all fine. So if they said, listen, we gotta have a standstill here for a couple of days and we're gonna talk about what the deal is
and how to move forward in peace and prosperity. Because if something like that went down and all it is fear mongering, then we know it's like a whole big hoodwinkle thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's got to be, hey, this is the way life's got to be from this moment. We messed up. Somebody messed up. We're not going to blame them. We're not going to start taking people out. We're not going to point at one particular group of people. But there is a time when all beings, not just humans, all beings, we had access to water and plants and air and space. And it may not have been perfect, but somebody came along, took it, bought it, said how much it's worth, controlled it, created establishments. They call it colonizing, which is really burning cities to the ground, taking children. God knows what you do to them. And you started this enslavement society where we need banks and we need to work for a piece of paper that represents your entire existence of life, which is not, we're the only beings that live like this.
Yeah.
And it is so thoughtless. You think you're so thoughtful. We're beyond thoughtless. Yeah. But I think enough people now are ready for just like, can you just tell us what, like, are we bringing it to the streets? Are we, it's like, what, just get to it. Can we just get to it? Do we have to survive on our own? You know what I mean? Stop now. Stop. That's
I try to call it sometimes bad reset, good reset, which is, I hope for the good reset, what you're talking about, the big reveal, the big sit down, where they level people. But I also think that the equation is always trying to balance itself. And I think there's nefarious types out there, as you've talked about in different things, that want the other reset. the bad. Yeah, exactly. The horns. Yeah, and
Our show never give up control. You know how much money I make on the Super Bowl in sports? That's just a part of my money. We're not even talking about NASA and how many people I get, quote, funding everything I want to research. They love that word, research.
By the way, thank you for bringing up the Super Bowl. I called that one immediately. The second, I don't want to go off on a different tangent because it's minor, but the second time I saw her in that freaking skybox, I go, oh my God, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. I go, that is.
So did I. Who didn't see that coming?
Should have placed the bet.
She's dating the guy. Oh, okay. And he's pushing for that big pharma company. Let me guess, she's gonna push for the. Yeah. No.
Oh,
you have to be Sub-Zero to not see that.
Yeah, that was so blatantly telegraphed. Oh my God, it was frustrating. It
was comical.
Awful. Freaking tough.
It was frustrating. Still is frustrating. People going, I think it's amazing that she's dating the fifth family.
Really? Yeah, the ex cheerleader and the jock. Yeah, that was a wasted opportunity. And I said that weeks beforehand. I go, if you really want to go all out, you have him at the podium, frickin' give her the ring right then and there. But they weren't going to commit to that because it's not real. It's not real. It's not actually happening. In fact, there was a story that came out just recently where he goes, I don't know how I got her. It's like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Now for the record, my personal belief is that it's not built. That's just me. It's not built for whatever, meaning man-made built.
What, this place?
Earth.
Yeah, no. Earth, firmament.
Well, not that good.
In my head. Well, no, and that's why I was confused earlier. I'm like, built. I'm thinking man.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking human being.
No,
okay.
no.
All right. As long as we're on the same page. All right. Then we're all good.
There is.
What, Jimbo?
There are stories or some people think that the moon is an artificial satellite. I don't know if you ever heard that, but if you look that up, I
heard that.
There's stories. There was one story where supposedly they shot some probe at the moon, and when it hit the moon, the thing rang like a bell, and it rang for like an hour, right? That they could tell. Anyway, so which would suggest that it's hollow, right? And the other thing is, and this is the strange part, is that there's always the same face. Like, why is it the exact same face? Always,
no matter where you are, you can see the face.
It never changes, not even a quarter degree in a century. I'm not going to say that it was lazily done because it's very nice and decorated. Oh, that, and of course the craters. I don't know if you guys ever thought of that. The craters are circles because every impact came in at a 90-degree angle, and it's like nothing's. It should look like a 10-year-old shot at it with a BB gun. And it doesn't. It looks like it was perfectly decorated. It's like, we're going to big circle here and big circle. But yeah.
Interesting. Well, and then there's and then
that, and of course what we just witnessed, which was coincidentally, it is 400 times more narrow, but 400 times closer than the sun, which is why it fits exactly in front of the sun. And it's like, okay, that is a bit of a coincidence there, because no other planet can claim that, by the way, and it's way oversized.
How does it even get that close? Right.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Anyway.
Fascinating. Fun stuff.
My head needs to rest. Because I think this was a lot of fun, and I want to thank you, Mark Sargent. Anything you have your podcast, or where can people?
I'm only going to advertise one thing because I promised him I would.